So, on the way down Portlaoise, pick up my riding buddy, take a ride out east, have a destination in mind. Never been there, there's nothing special there. Kilmichael's Point, I think it is. Site of an old I forgot the name of it. Lifeboat station or lighthouse station or something like that. It's not an actual lighthouse. Just have a destination. Not ideal weather, but if you wait for weather to get nice in Ireland to come out for a bike ride, you'd only go out a few months a year. Come through Strafford here, left to me there now is a steam museum, well worth going to during the summer, open between May and September. Fantastic big fixed steam engines there. I need a bit of fuel, but don't think I'll stop here. This touring screen on the Tiger XCA is going to protect me from most of the elements. I'm in rain mode. Just backed off the power, maximum traction and ABS and all that good stuff. Tyres are great. Don't even know what they are. Skirt the manhole covers. That was Strafford. So this bike is effortless around twisty roads. I know a lot of people think big 1200, especially a Triumph Tiger, which is known to be on the heavier end of the scale for adventure bikes, but you know, this thing handles brilliantly. It's no problem at all. It really isn't. You can turn in quick on this. And I'm in rain mode. It's the suspension's set fairly softly at the moment. When you go into rain mode, damping gets quite soft. But you can, as I say in one of the other videos, you can modify that damping in any mode on the fly. But I'll leave it where it is. So this is kind of a review of this bike, even though I'm still at kind of low mileage, but it's just really maybe to help someone if they're thinking of buying this bike. What are the good bits and what are the bad bits about it? So I know a lot of people go on and on and on about the weight of this bike. Just don't worry about it unless you're small or slight, you know. But if you're just an average guy or girl, it's not really a problem. There are lots of other heavier bikes out there. It might be heavy for an adventure bike in this kind of class, but who's ever going to go off-road in a bike like this, really? I would call this a sport touring bike in the style of an adventure bike. You know, it's like buying a GS and going with a spoke wheel option. That's all. A quick shifter is to die for. And it's actually very good at low speeds. Very good at low speeds. And you just want to let it get on with it. Let it do its own thing, because the more you try and help it, the more you actually cock it up. If you manually do this gearbox, which you can do of course, it's actually a bit clunky. The quick shifter takes care of that for you. There's one thing about the link brakes on this though that Oh fuck, here we are. I'm gonna get wet. There's one thing I'd say about the link brakes on this bike. You really can drive all day long with one or two fingers in normal everyday riding. I've only just started my ride and I can feel the water in my left boot from that puddle. Crap. I should have to treat these boots. But the one finger braking, it actually, the nice part about it is when you're coming up to junctions or commuting through town or, you know, slow stop start going stuff, what it allows you to do is be ready with both feet to touch the ground to steady yourself when you come into a stop, rather than coming to stop with one foot, say your left foot, because your right foot's covering the rear brake when you're stopping. You no longer have to cover your rear brake with your right foot. So you can just use your right, couple of fingers on the right hand side, pull up with your link brakes, put both feet down at the same time. That's really handy with pillion, really handy. So if you're all luggaged up and with pillion, that helps a lot. It just allows you to steady the bike easily with both feet. So that's the link brakes. I think that's a really positive thing about this bike. The hill hold, it's something I thought I'd rarely use, but it's actually a really great feature in that when you get to a junction, set of traffic lights, wherever it may be, anywhere you have to stop, if there's even the smallest incline, it's kind of just a hand. It's kind of handy just knocking on the hill hold on, because you just give the front brake lever a little tap, a little squeeze, puts the hill hold on, and then you can rummage around with both feet on the ground. You can rummage around in your tank bag or whatever, or, you know, adjust your helmet, clean your visor, do whatever you need to do without trying to do that and balance or keep the bike on the level or keep the bike from rolling forward or backwards at the same time. It's a small thing, I know, but I've actually found myself using it a lot more than I thought. So say I get to a toll booth on the motorway, while you're making a meal of getting your card out to pay for the toll booth or some change, it's handy to just put the hill hold on to keep you steady doing that if there's even the tiniest bit of incline. Coming in through Salins, the side of Salins. We're in Kildare at the moment. We'll be going down Portlaoise to Offaly. It is actually quite mild. Again, very mild winter this year, 2018 in Ireland. 9.5 degrees according to the display. So I recommend the hill hold. It's not a gimmick, it comes in handy, and I really like the link brakes. I really like the link brakes. And this quick shifter, right? Oh, you flipper! This quick shifter is fantastic, even at low speeds. I'm getting good protection from this screen. It's in its highest position. Actually see me riding this bike with the screen in the highest position most of the time. It's very effective. Not 100% at very fast motorway speeds, but, you know, not bad. I have a peak on at the moment because it holds the camera on this helmet. You have to use the peak to use the platform for the GoPro they give you. They'll give you the GoPro, obviously, the platform to put the GoPro on. So next, helmet, which isn't particularly quiet, by the way. I love everything about it, but it's not that quiet. It's kind of noisy. But you can sit here with this touring screen on this XEA in its highest position. I think we'll try and get all the way to the services on the motorway rather than stop at Nace here. I digress. So this screen, I'm totally cocooned at the moment. It's giving me great wind protection, although it's not lashing me rain at the moment. And you can wear a peak. I've sat there at 140 kilometers on the motorway on this, and the peak isn't affected. You can turn your head for a lifesaver without getting your neck ripped off. Something I couldn't do so much on my old bike with the stock screen. When I put on MRA Vario on it, that made it a lot better. But yeah, you can sit there 140, do a lifesaver and a peak screen, peaked helmet, and it's fine. It doesn't rip your head off. As I say, I wouldn't normally ride with a peak. You don't get enough sun here. So this review isn't a bang on about everything about this bike, because the journos do a much better job than me with all power and torque and all that sort of stuff. I understand all that. There's no point in me repeating it. You can find that on the web. So this is what this bike is good at. This is what this bike is good at. I'm doing an indicator 134, but look, I know that's about 120 by the time I allowed for the speedo being out. And I'm wearing a peak, and it's not affecting me at all. It's not totally silent, but it's effortless on my helmet, my face. Yeah, I could even open my visor without too much trouble. I'm not getting a blast in the face. So this bike's going to sit here all day like this, and it's going to be in comfort. So I hit reserve, hit the same button on the left, down once to activate it, down again in the same direction to set it, and now I'm set. An indicator 128, which I know is about 120, so I'm in the speed limit, so the cops aren't going to bother me. And this bike is just sitting there, effortless, absolutely effortless. I'm well protected. The outside of my arms are getting a little bit, but not bad. This tank bag is not waterproof. Oddly enough, the matching tail bag, which I haven't got on today, they do have waterproof zips, but not on this tank bag. I have a cover for it, but I actually don't need it. But I'll put it on the petrol stop anyway. So 10.5 degrees. A bit wet, but not particularly cold. And if you're going to go cruising across Europe, or just across country like I am today, this bike's very easy to do that. I like lots of bikes, of course, but this is effortless. I'm on cruise. It's quite a blustery day. This bike is solid. I've only got a 22 kilometer range left according to the dash, so let's hope. Another thing I find about, another nice thing about this bike, the mirrors. Lots of people talk about mirrors where they vibrate or not. Well, these don't, but There's a great field of view with these mirrors. So the two mirrors cross each other over. So I'm getting a full 180 view behind me, which I think is fantastic, especially in town. You really can see all around you at the back just with the regular mirrors without moving your elbows in or anything. They're excellent in that respect. This is one of those times when the keyless ignition is a waste of time if you have an alarm. Well, actually, no, even if you don't have an alarm, you still need the key to open your fuel tank. But more than that, I need to disable the alarm. And I need to start the bike within 45 seconds so the alarm doesn't start going off again. So I have to disable the alarm with the key fob, which is on my keyless ignition fob, which is just a complete waste of time. I honestly think the keyless ignition on this bike is just to have it in a brochure. It's ticking a box compared to other bikes, because it's about as much use as a chocolate teapot. Well, I had 7-kilometre range left, so I thought I'd fill up. Shoot, I didn't check out how much that took. But yeah, the keyless ignition is a waste of time on this bike, a complete waste of time. When I stop now, so I stop somewhere, take a photograph, anything, the bike's going to self-arm with my Thatcham approved alarm, the Triumph Thatcham approved alarm, which, if you don't have one, it'll cost you more insurance anyway. So then I still have to get my key fob out, or an alarm fob, to disable that, to be able to start the bike. So I might as well have just had a bloody key. 45 seconds till the alarm arms. So if you get off your bike or stop your bike for more than 45 seconds, you've got to have the thing in your hand. And look at this guy. Oh, he spotted me. Well done, that man. If you don't have an alarm and you don't have a need for one, okay, I can see the keyless ignition to be half decent, yeah. But with an alarm, it's actually a bit more of a pain in the arse. It doesn't really offer you anything at all. So don't get excited about that. That's actually my biggest criticism of this bike. And if that's my only criticism, that's not too bad. This is Kildare Outlet. It's one of these big out-of-town outlets where supposedly super duper brands are cheap, last year's model and all that sort of stuff. Place is packed every weekend. It's just, well, I don't know why it's full of shit around about this. Kildare being a bit of a horsey place, lots of studs around, lots of rich history here with horse racing and Kildare. And there's a big Kildare stud here, a bit of a tourist attraction here, which is very popular, with the Japanese gardens next to it. A lovely day out if it's nice weather. Talking about nice weather, that's not looking too bad over there. So I filled the tank to the brim, telling me I've got a 302 kilometre range. the moment at this speed. On cruise. Dead handy. Weather's picking up. Good stuff. My tyre pressure monitoring now. So yeah, when in rain mode, put my damping down in very comfortable. One off the bottom. Look at that, it's picking up now. You've got to make these decisions, you've got to go out in the piss and rain, because you never know what you find. I'm sure we'll get a bit more rain today, but this is great. And I'm going that way. Woohoo! When I took a demo ride on the XRT, I had the seat in the low position, and it wasn't too bad. I thought, yeah, but I'd ride with it in the high position most of the time. But because there's a good distance between the pegs and the seat, you can actually ride with it in a low position, or I can, and still have a comfortable leg. I'm 6 foot, but kind of short in the leg, so I don't know, anyone 5'8" to 6'2", something like that, might even find this seat comfortable in the low position. Huge pegs, very comfortable actually, even the pillion pegs, look at the size of them. But yeah, that low seat height gives you great footing. Easy to control, so I think I'll ride with it most of the time with the seat in the low position, oddly enough. Yeah, what you can't get over with this bike is the joy of just riding on a road like this. For a 1200, it looks after itself very well. And with the link brakes, you just have a couple of fingers or even one finger on your right hand on your brake and the quick shifter. It just makes this a joy to drive or ride, whatever. And it's not a 1200 that's screaming at the leash. It's quite happy doing these sort of revs and taking around these roads. I mean, these are quite small roads, and it's easy enough to manoeuvre around, and the engine's really happy at this speed, at any speed actually, but it's not complaining of this at all. Simple one finger brake, take a bit of speed off, slow down, and quick shift down too at the same time. If I had a pillion on today, they'd be perfectly happy. Bit of mud on the road, got to watch the old farmers' fields around here. Tractors at the entrances, the old mud. Now, busy enough junction here. He was before me. Thank you, sir. Very kind. Supporting glass. So even at these really slow speeds, the quick shifter is excellent. That clunking you heard there, actually me forgetting and using the clutch. So in town here, as I was saying, bit stop start, one finger braking, two finger braking, whatever, with just the front brake. I use me both feet to keep myself steady in town, which is nice. Nice village, town, village. There's one thing I will say about this bike. You probably won't pick this up on the mic, but at kind of medium speeds like this, it's quite a roar comes down from down there. It's like there's a little jet aircraft flying between your forks. Or a washing machine with a bearing gun, with a drum bearing gun. And it's quite pronounced at these sort of speeds. Once you're going faster, you kind of don't notice it a bit. And when you go very slow in town, obviously you don't notice it. It's mechanical engine noise of some sort. But it is quite pronounced, and just watch out for that if you take a test ride of one of these, because it may annoy you. I've kind of got used to it now. It's only at certain speeds that it gets intrusive. At other speeds, you know, everything else is making more noise. The wind noise, the rest of the engine, the exhaust. It just got a lot more pronounced as the road surface changed. I wonder, is that anything to do with tyre noise and an echo back off the tyre? That's interesting. Well, have we been lucky today so far? A little bit of rain, but we seem to be skirting it all. These roads, if you just keep an eye out for the mud or a diesel spill, are just lovely for relaxed riding. Well, I love the sound of that exhaust. It's the arrow can on it. You get enjoyment out of it even at low speed. Hey, the road's getting a bit rough. It's grand. You can have fun riding anyway, can't you? You don't have to go to the Ring of Kerry every time, as beautiful as it is. Aye aye, sun's coming out for us. Yeah, just pick a route across Ireland and just take your time getting somewhere and go roads like this. Find loads, plenty of villages to stop at to get a coffee. Most of the pubs do coffee in the morning and during the day. Skip the motorways. Take these, well, they're not even A roads, take these B roads. So if you use something like My Route app, you can put all your waypoints in and then send them to one of two sat-nav programs supported on phones, but they also export to Garmin and TomToms, the bike versions. I can put all your waypoints in and keep your route, plot your route on roads like this. Look, there's no cars. It's fantastic. It's so much more enjoyable. No, you won't find a petrol station, but you'll never be that far from one either. But these are the best roads. Now it's slow going, but you don't want to be sitting on a motorway all day, do you? There's nothing even at the destination we're going to. It's just the edge of Ireland at a particular point with a lovely view. And if we've got time, we'll get a brew going. Have my Trangia. Get the coffee on. Well, actually it's a little, or Aldi, I can't remember which, copy of a Trangia. And, you know, it's identical in every way, but the burner isn't as nice quality on it. And I'd say if you want that sort of stove, because I'm not mad on carrying gas canisters around, if you want a wet fuel type of stove, if you can stretch to it, try and get the original Trangia. They're Nordic of some, I don't know whether they're Swedish or Icelandic or something like that, but the original quality one's just absolutely lovely. And they're great in the wind. So we'll get a brew on when we get there. 3/4 an hour away now. And the sun's out again. Oh yes. It's amazing to think the way the weather changes now. This is supposed to be all ice tomorrow. It's supposed to be minus tonight. So all this dampness on the road, this whole country is going to be a virtual skid pan. I'll say, look at that, what a lovely pub. You could go in there now and get yourself a cup of coffee. Much more interesting than a Texaco petrol station. And you might meet some interesting people while you're at it. So the next time you're going somewhere, go to small roads. It'll take you a lot longer, but what's your hurry? Fuck, I just missed my turn. So it's so refreshing to have a quick shifter on these sort of roads. I mean, you're forever changing gear. And my last bike, I didn't have a quick shifter. When I was doing a few sections of the Wide Atlantic Way, which are fantastic. Recommend that to anybody. Seeing as I live here, I'll do it a good few more times, I'm sure. But some stretches, you're never off your clutch. And this quick shifter will make for great riding. Because my left hand did get a lot of fatigue on the clutch. It'd be nice though if you could get, I mean you have to go all the way at the XCA model to get a bike with a quick shifter. It'd be nice if you wanted a base model Drive Tiger and you just say wanted, well I'll have the base model with manual suspension but give me a quick shifter. You get pushed all the way up the price range to get the XCA. And other things, of course. But I don't think I'd be without one anymore. I've always thought of quick shifters as kind of track day devices. I don't do track days, it's not my cup of tea. Well, it's just never appealed to me. but for everyday riding, they're just great. Don't need a track for a quick shifter. Getting a bit slim here, this road. Gotta watch out for the shit. Yes. There's only one house at the end of this. Cool, cool, cool. Oh, yes. I like that. That is beautiful. Look at that. What do you think? All right. Did we get the sun or what? So I've realised I'm just rambling on now, and the last half of this video is not a review at all, really, is it? Or much of one. Let me wrap this up by looking at a few points that I think are the most impressive points of this bike, and it leads me to the conclusion that you can get 90% of the impressive things of this bike with the base model. Here's why. The most impressive thing about this bike is the engine and the way the suspension deals with the road. All day comfort. I was out on the bike for about 5 hours that day, and I just got off. I could have done another 5 hours. I really could have done. The cruise on the motorway is fantastic, and the weight of the bike actually helped it sit there in a heavy crosswind, quite stable. And the link brakes really make sense. They really make sense on this bike. So all the things that I think make this bike are the things that come on the base model, the middle and the top model. It's not all the electronic gadgets and the like. I'm not saying don't go for the top model. I did, and I love all those bits. But what I'm saying is they don't make what the bike is. It's the basis of the bike that makes it a great bike. So, as I say, I reckon if you had a base XR model, you're going to get 90% plus of the riding pleasure that I can get with an XCA. I just put that larger touring screen on it, and that'd be it mostly. If there's one thing I'd do though, is if you're going to go for a bike with manual suspension, especially in this day and age where everyone's buying adventure bikes, or lots of people are buying adventure bikes, people don't really understand sag, and it wasn't as important years ago where suspension travel was quite short. Now with huge suspension travel on adventure bikes, you can really screw up the handling of a bike. And when you don't add enough preload, especially to the rear, when you load a bike up, you're changing the rake and trail of that motorbike, and really having a big effect on the handling of a bike. So I'd say if you go for the XR, just read the manual on the suspension setup. It's really great in the Triumph book. A lot of manufacturers tell you nothing and just assume you know something about it, but it's a great indication. So overall, I love this bike. I love this Triumph. I know there's many other capable bikes out there. It was just my review on my Triumph Tiger 1200 XCA, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks. Bye.